Hello, everybody. This is Whitney Russell here to discuss what 21st century learning looks like for our students and what they need in order to be successful. So, to begin, I'd like to start with a definition of what 21st century skills are. According to the Partnership for 21st Century Learning, 21st century skills are the essential skills needed for success in today's world. And notice in their definition, they use the words essential and needed. So that really clarifies that these skills are not just, yeah, they'd be great to have. It'd be good if our students had these skills. It's no, they are essential. They are needed skills. They are what our students need to be successful, not just in college, not just in their careers, but in the world. So the Partnership for 21st Century Learning has broken up these skills into three different sections. The first of these sections is what they have identified as learning and innovation skills. And I would like to go so far as to say that these are the skills that our schools are focused on and that they're doing a pretty good job on. They are addressing these skills in the classroom. And we can summarize these skills as the four C's. The first is collaboration. How well are students collaborating with other students, both in their classroom, in their school, outside of the walls of their schools? Are they collaborating? Are they creating things together, not just independently? And with that comes communication. How are they communicating? Are they communicating with just their teacher? Are they communicating with other students in their classroom? Again, are they communicating with students outside of the walls of their classroom? Also, are they using critical thinking skills in order to solve problems that they encounter both in the classroom and outside of the classroom? And are they addressing these problems with creativity? Or are they just using, standard, addressing them with just standard run of the mill ways? So these four C's are necessary to be successful again in today's world. And it's what we as teachers are trying to address every day in the classroom. The second set of skills, or the second division, according to the Partnership for 21st Century Learning, are life and career skills. And I would say that these are the skills that are not being addressed in the classroom as much as they should be. Because they're not necessarily those academic skills that we are trying to address with the previous learning skills. So the first of these is flexibility and adaptability. When our students encounter a problem, are they able to adapt? Are they flexible? Productivity and accountability. Are they productive? Are they accountable for what they are producing? How much are they being leaders? Leadership and responsibility. What are their social skills like? We know that a lot of students do really well in school, but then the second you put them into a social setting or cross-cultural setting, and they freeze up. And then how much are they taking initiative? How much are they self-directed? Or how much are they depending on their teacher or their bosses to tell them what to do? The third category of skills, and again, these are ones that I would say that we aren't necessarily addressing in the classroom as well as we can. These are the information, media, and technology skills, and they are identified as information literacy, media literacy, and ICT literacy. And these are things that we are trying to do better, that we are trying to teach students how to navigate this digital world that they are living in, but it's definitely something that I think teachers can do better. It's something that we're not necessarily familiar with because that digital landscape is changing drastically every single day. And so that's something that we probably could do better. So now that we've looked at these three categories of 21st century skills, I'd like to kind of bring it to my classroom. I'm an art teacher. I teach photo specifically. And so the skill set that we would need, that my students need in a photo class are maybe, or not maybe, are definitely a lot different than what they would need in, say, a math class or a social studies class or an English class. So to me, the number one skill that students need in my classroom that they need to develop, that I need to foster, is their creativity. I do project-based learning in my classroom, and I give my students a very broad category, something as simple as reflections, and they get to explore that project using their creativity. Now I could tell them you could easily go out and find a window, and take a photo of a reflection in a window, but take it beyond that. Turn it into a piece of art. Where's your creativity? Um, Turn it into something that is aesthetically pleasing. That's not just checking the boxes of your assignment. Think outside of that box, and that is a skill that is definitely needed in today's work in the workplace today. If you look at the skills that business owners want in their employees, at the top of the list is often creativity. The second most important skill that I try to foster in my classroom is collaboration. Um, in the art world, you are collaborating all the time, whether that is with fellow artists, whether that is with someone who has commissioned a piece, or whether that is just with someone else for fun. There's a lot of collaboration in the art world, and so I encourage a lot of collaborative projects in which students come up with the concept together, go out and take the photos, and they can edit it together. They pass it back and forth, and they're really learning a lot of skills in this collaboration process. How to work with a team, how to communicate with a team, how to get your point across, how to listen to other people's points. So to me, that is an incredibly important skill to cultivate in an art classroom. Lastly, of those three most important skills, I think number three is initiative and self-direction. Um, in the professional world, artists are often self-employed. You don't get to go work at a firm underneath someone very often. And so because you're self-employed, a lot of your business is from initiative and self-direction. No one is You don't have a typical 9 to 5. No one's telling you what to do, and you don't clock in and clock out. A lot of your work is done on schedules that aren't necessarily traditional. Your clientele isn't necessarily traditional. And so a lot of that is you have to be a self-starter. You have to go out there, you have to find clients, you have to find business. And you honestly work for yourself most of the time. And so I think that initiative and self-direction are incredibly important. As far as a lesson plan that I could adapt to meet the needs or the goals of a linked learning classroom. One of the major goals in a linked learning classroom is student engagement. And so one of the projects that I love to do with my students is when they're learning about the elements and principles of design, when they're learning about things like line and pattern and texture, I could easily show them those things on a PowerPoint. But for me, to get my students more engaged, I like to send them out on a scavenger hunt. Go find these things using your camera. And I find that by doing that, by turning it into a game, by turning it into a scavenger hunt, students are really engaged. And so that's my presentation. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks.